If you want to get those flashy cinematic flares that you get from anamorphic lenses, I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can get them and how to combine them for an even cooler effect. By now you're probably aware that you can just go online, download some lens flares, put them over your footage, change the blend mode to screen, and have some cool anamorphic flares. But there are some cases where this just doesn't fit and it's a little too over the top and in your face. So today I'm going to show you both of these methods and how I blend them. This is the raw footage that we're dealing with today, and it is a good base starting point, but I wanted this video to have a really flashy, high production look, so I'm going to start by adding some fake flaring. First thing I'm going to do is duplicate my footage so that we have a top and a bottom layer. You can either hold Alt and click and drag, or just copy and paste the clip. Our goal with this second layer is to isolate just the brightest highlights, and then we can process those highlights to look like lens flares. We can start by changing the blend mode from normal to screen, which is going to make anything in the image that's black completely transparent. Now we're going to go to the Effects tab and pull up our Luma key. We're going to use this to eliminate anything that's below a certain brightness level. I'm going to drag that onto my top clip, and then I'm actually going to turn off the bottom clip just so we can see what we're doing a little bit more clearly. As you can see, our top layer is actually showing a lot more than just the light sources. So I'm going to start dragging the cutoff setting up until we've isolated just the bright light sources in our scene. 65 seems good to me, so now we're going to grab the directional blur effect and add that to the top layer. We want to change the direction to 90 degrees so that we get a horizontal streak, and now you can start extending the blur length up. It's hard to see how this is affecting the final output, so I'm going to turn our bottom layer back on. Now you can see we get this really crisp, really cool looking anamorphic type lens flare on all of our light sources. From here you can adjust any of these settings until you're happy with the final look, but I'm going to show you one thing that you should try out. The tighter your settings are on the Luma key, the more of a defined streak you're going to get. But if you loosen up a little bit, you get more of a blurred, general streaky area. If I drop the cutoff from 65 to like 55, you can see instead of a clear defined streak, we get more of a blurry streak and bloom around the light source. You can make these even more pronounced and stylized, very much like 2000s pop music videos, if you duplicate that second layer. So if I turn this on, so now we've got 2 instances of it, you get this very obnoxious, like 2000s hip hop vibe, Missy Elliott type video look. Now that's one way to do it, but I said I was going to show you a second way and how to blend them. So I'm going to turn all of this off for a second, so we just have our basic footage. Now there's a ton of free anamorphic lens flare overlays online just like this one, so why not just drag this, drop it onto the footage, change the blend mode from normal to screen, and call it a day. This looks great, it definitely works, but I find that the best look is one where you're combining both of these tools together. It looks so weird to me when I see this bright, in-your-face lens flare in the foreground, but I don't see any other anamorphic characteristics within the rest of the scene. You can see even just tossing this effect on at like 30–40%, this looks much more convincing to me and much more realistic than if I just throw on this obnoxious in-your-face lens flare overlay and nothing else. To me, it's about blending all the tools at your disposal to get the best final look. But I'm still not done. I'm going to give you one last tip to make this look even better. Remember that lens flares are dynamic. They only appear when we have a very bright light source shining directly into the lens. And when we don't have that, we shouldn't be seeing a flare. So if we just toss on a lens flare overlay like this and I play it back, there's something about that that just looks wrong. We have this lens flare the entire time, even when we can't see a bright light source. So go the extra mile and do what I did here. If I turn on my other layer, you can see that I've actually automated the opacity of the lens flare overlay to react to the environment. As the light passes behind him, we lose the lens flare. And as the light gets revealed, when he goes down, we get that lens flare back again. I'm adjusting the opacity and the intensity of that lens flare overlay to react with the actual environment and the frame. Combine all 3 of these techniques the next time you're looking for some sort of convincing anamorphic flaring effect in your video. If you like this and you want to see more, please subscribe for more stuff like this. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.